Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the team. It's June 10th. Trey Lance just had an A+ OTAs minicamp. Jimmy's still here. Hard to say what the Niners are looking for here unless they just want a really good backup quarterback. Is that feasible? Because as I mentioned earlier, Trey Lance has gotten injured in the past.
Yeah,
And this
I
offensive
mean,
line is not that great. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, I think like if you just looking at it like for the like facts of like if Jimmy G, if you had a guy as good as Jimmy G to be your backup quarterback, like that would be great. But just the dynamics with the team, the fan base, I don't see in the way that they handled this offseason, I just can't see that happening. Like I don't know. At the beginning, the way Shanahan was talking before like OTAs, like I was thinking like maybe he will bring Jimmy G back and just do it like that and do it kind of like last year. But I don't know. I just don't think that's gonna happen. But it would be good to have a good backup because if Trey goes down, the season's over.
Yeah, I mean, but you can kind of. I mean, who was the backup in New England for years with Tom Brady? I mean, who's the backup right now? I mean, we don't really know too
Jimmy
much
G,
about. Say it again.
Jimmy G.
Good question. Good point. But I mean, when it's kind of one of those things like when your quarterback goes out, I don't know. Teams don't really have you don't set things up for your backup quarterback, to lead you to success. Like I don't even want to think that way. I don't even want to bring that energy into things. One thing I will
Right.
say, as much energy and thought that I put into this team and how much it dominates my life, I really don't often dream about the 49ers. I had a dream last night that Jimmy G was traded to the Patriots. I don't know why they would do that. I don't know how that happened, but I had a dream last night that happened. So I was telling my fiance, if he gets traded this week, I don't know, I might have just put that into existence somehow. But in the case that Jimmy G is on the team, will he be the backup or can he be the backup to the question? Man, I just feel like everything needs to be centered around Trey. You got to move forward with Trey. You got to live and die with Trey, and you got to set everything up for his success. Grant was making the point. I don't know if it was here or on his show earlier today or earlier this week, but he was making the point that Trey seemed to have a little bit more confidence, even at the podium, and just the energy was just different because he's kind of the guy right now. But if you bring Jimmy back into the fold, and we just talked about Richard Sherman, we just talked about Trent Williams, who's actually on the team, and how strong of a bot he's a friend for life, I believe is what he said.
He said, I love him. I miss Jimmy. I miss Jimmy. I miss Jimmy.
Hey man, hey, that's nothing wrong with that. It's not even it's not a referendum on Jimmy G.
No.
It's more so about looking at this from Trey's perspective. In terms of, I think Trey even answered. He said, last year you guys were asking me questions and stuff, and it's like I'm just trying to respond because I'm not the starter. Like I don't know what you guys want me to say. Right. This year his energy is a little bit different, maybe because he is the guy. They've given him indications that he's the guy. You bring back Jimmy G and you still say, yeah, Trey, you're still the guy, but Jimmy G's here over your shoulder. Man, like I just don't see like it, and I understand the point of it's good having a good veteran backup. But again, I would outweigh the value of just having Jimmy G off the team, the cap implications of that. And there's, if we do trade him, I'm assuming that we can trade him for a backup quarterback, and we can get somebody solid. I mean, people are bringing up the Browns as an example. I mean, if that happens, like, can we not get Jacoby Brissett? Like, I think there's other avenues to get like a backup quarterback, and we have Nate. They speak very highly of Nate. So I do not think Jimmy G should be the person over Trey's shoulder. I do feel like he should be off the team, and I think it's a bad idea. It's a terrible idea if you bring him back. This has gone too long. I don't know what the team is doing, though. I don't know what their mindset is. It doesn't look like there's an avenue for him to get traded, but they also feel like you can't just give away or cut a player like that of that caliber. So it's kind of like, what's going to give? I don't know. This team seems very stubborn, so I don't know what's going to give.
Yeah, I know, right? But it seems like they were very intent in this offseason to keep Jimmy away. Like what they made it seem like, oh, well, he's just rehabbing, so we don't want to inconvenience him. I think that's not what it was. They wanted Trey to sort of get comfortable as the leader and the face of the franchise, and that worked. Like that seemed to have the desired effect. Why would you double back and do something different now? It seemed like you made a choice. It had the desired effect. Stick with it. If you bring him back,
what is the how are things going to get resolved with Jimmy? Like, do you think anything has changed on that front? Because the question is, like, I think it really comes down to, are you willing to cut him? And if you cut him this late in the process, this is like, these guys' best friends, and they look so, highly at Jimmy, and they have all this, just the guys in the locker room right now. How are they going to feel if we just cut Jimmy in a position where it's right before the season? doesn't really give him an opportunity to catch on and get to a team and things of that nature. Like, is that going to look favorably on our regime?
I honestly think that they won't care. I mean, like, they might feel a certain way, but all these players know, you know, they could say that, oh, we're, you know, they have respect for Jimmy, but these guys aren't talking to Jimmy every day. It doesn't seem like, you know, people, you ask Kittle or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, I haven't talked to him since the season was over, or whoever, even Trent Williams or whatever. So I just feel like they know they in the business. This is a business. The NFL is a business. They know that. I think they're aware of that. And I mean, as of right now, it feels like the team is. It seems the vibe that I get from the interviews feels like Jimmy G's not on the team. That this is Trey Lance's team. Like, it's not like, it doesn't feel like, oh, Jimmy G's a quarterback on this team.
Right. Exactly. Like, the coaches have no contact with him. The players have no contact with him. He's not on the team. To me, what the Niners could say is they could bring him back for training camp if minicamp and OTAs was a disaster for Trey Lance. But, well, hey, great. We got Jimmy. But that's not what happened. Jimmy was gone. Trey was great. And he became the leader. And he, like, started showing his personality all of a sudden to be like, yo, that was great. We're going to keep that in mind for next year, but we're going to go with Jimmy one more time. Like, that can't happen. And I don't think that – what I think would really piss off the locker room is having Jimmy stay as a backup. That seems like a slap in the face. Let him go. Let him go continue his career elsewhere. I think it's one thing to ask 21-year-old rookie Trey to be a backup for 1 year. That's understandable. It's another thing to ask 30-year-old veteran Jimmy, who's been your starter, to now carry a clipboard. I mean, that's a big slap in the face. And Trent Williams, remember, they love him. They're going to empathize with him. You can't do that. If you want a veteran backup, you should have brought in Andy Dalton or Tyrod Taylor.
Had the chance, yeah. It reminds me of that Man in the Arena series. I just actually finished watching that on ESPN Plus, and they were one of the episodes. They were talking about Bill Belichick and how he's like cutting these veterans right before the season, and he's just ruthless. Bill Belichick does stuff like that, and the teams knew that, okay, this is the program, we got to fall under line. I feel like there's elements of us that kind of do those sort of things, but at the same time, our perception of Kyle Shanahan is a guy who's really good with the players, has good relationships, all those sort of things. So again, my question is, if you do cut Jimmy and don't give him opportunity like early on to go to another team or kind of find his footing and those sort of things, and these guys already have these strong relations. I get what you're saying, JB, in terms of it doesn't matter because it's a business and it's football, but I just wonder if that's going to affect the perception and relationship with Shanahan and our regime of being very, I don't know, friendly.
No, I am interested to see how it plays out because, this whole time John Lynch has been emphasizing how much he cares for Jimmy, how much he respects Jimmy, and how he basically wants to make it work for both sides. So how are you going to make it work for Jimmy too?
Exactly.
Here's what's going to happen. He's still rehabbing. So the Niners can say, look, there's nothing I can do with you now anyway. He'll pass his physical. He'll start throwing again in like a month and a half. And the Niners will try to trade him. They'll fail. And they'll say, we're going to cut you. We tried. We gave it our best shot. There's no value. We like Trey. We're not going to bring you to camp. That's the right thing to do. The wrong thing to do would be, we didn't trade you. We're going to keep trying to trade you until the trade deadline. We're going to take this till the very, very end. And that would be a big freaking mistake because he should never step foot in that facility ever again. It's Trey's facility now.
But you can argue that was the case last year, and we didn't do that then. But I know the situation
did argue
is a little bit different, but I mean that was the case last year. So we'll see how stubborn our regime really is. Like I feel like it's the same old song.
Official BNA Music 88 says Jimmy G's spot right now is the same as Jalen Hurd. Let him be free. Agree. I think Jimmy G would agree with that too.